Who are you?
Whoever you want me to be.
Don't say I never gave you anything.
It's feeling epic.
3 words. 8 letters.
I remember everything.
Hello. Welcome back to the Previously On podcast. I'm your favorite teen drama fangirl, Jillian Bonani, and with me once again, my husband, who I got to watch Maxton Hall, and he's obsessed with it. He's coming up with his own theories. It's Tyler Branch.
Thank you for having me, Jillian. I like that you're still wearing the same Maxton Hall sweatshirt from
I'm like Elaine. I will never take this sweatshirt off.
You'll never take it off. You just
smelling
smell it.
Yeah. It was
What
in the
might have
presence of
been.
greatness. I got to keep it on. Well, thank you all for joining us once again. We are doing a very special episode today. We're doing a mailbag app. We're going to be talking about your questions, comments, theories, all about Maxton Hall leading into the season 2 finale, which is episode 6. So I'm excited to talk about some theories today. Tyler, what would you say is your craziest theory so far?
I think James died in the car accident, and this has all just been a death dream. I think that Ruby is an angel pulling him to the light, and Mortimer is obviously the devil
I
himself.
don't hate that theory because you could say that Ruby died in the water accident from back in the day.
That's true, too.
And
yeah.
maybe this is her version of heaven.
They're meeting in the afterlife.
I do love an afterlife story. You love a theory of somebody is dead already and this is all a dream.
You gotta have somebody's. Yeah, you gotta have a
love
twist
that
like
theory.
That. We
You
love
love
that
it.
kind of
Yeah.
twist.
I don't know how accurate.
That's the only way we could go wackier. I love it.
I don't know how accurate that theory is, but we'll take any and all theories today as we talk through it.
We're open to any and all theories on this podcast.
Theories. So we have covered season 1 and the first 5 episodes of season 2 so far. So be sure go back and listen to those episodes. We go ep by ep in season 2. So we've been here for all the drama, all the juicy gossip, and boy, was there some drama this season. That's why we had to do this mailbag app. There's so much to talk about.
So much to talk about. So
there's no spoilers for episode 6 in this, but we will be talking all about episodes 1 through 5 of season 2. So be sure, watch those, listen to those before we get into this, because we're really going to get into it.
I have no idea what's going to happen, so I am happy
Well, and
to
so much
speculate.
happens each ep. There's so much you could speculate on. We've really gotten into a lot of
great.
storylines. A lot is happening. So let's get into it. Let's get to your questions. Thank you all for submitting questions. For those who did, we really appreciate it. So our first question comes from Instagram. They asked, how can we all forgive James when he was so savage to Ruby directly to her face while also still saying Jer was terrible? I'm having a hard time forgiving James. I like this. This is a great question. So they're talking about...
Really holding us to our takes from the Summer
That's a
Turned
fan,
Pretty.
and
huh?
I appreciate that. Thank you for listening to the Summer
like
Turned Pretty
that.
apps. So they're talking about Jer from The Summer I Turned Pretty, who we were very hard on.
Yeah.
We really were critical of Jeremiah. With reason. I stand by that.
Yeah.
I understand having a hard time forgiving James. I mean, it took me maybe an episode, so I didn't have as hard of a time.
You brought up Jeremiah's cheating way more. You brought up Cabo and Summer I Turned Pretty way more than you've brought up James in that pool.
Well, I think there's a difference. James right away knew that he messed up. James went into action right away. You know, fixing himself, trying to be better for Ruby. And so to me, it's kind of comparing two different situations here, where James took what he did and tried to better himself with it and tried to be a better guy. And we did not see that from Jeremiah.
Sure.
He hid it. It was a secret for a long time.
So taking the responsibility
Yes.
for it, Well, he had to take responsibility for it because he did kind of humiliate her in front of a lot of people. So it's not like he could pretend it didn't happen. I think for me, part of what I didn't like about what was going on with Jeremiah in season 3 of The Summer I Turned Pretty was that I felt he was so manipulative about the situation that even his being apologetic was kind of to his own benefit, like using her, like, no, we need to be closer together now. Like, there were just things like that where it didn't feel quite as genuine as James. I think James made a big mistake at the beginning of season 2 here, but like, I do think the show's really tried to look, things move fast in this show. Characters change quickly. And I think they've tried to show us that like he's being almost selfless in his like giving Ruby all the space she needs this season. Like, you know what I mean? That's the opposite of Jeremiah was like, no, you need to marry me and be under my like complete spell and kind of like do exactly what I want. Well, he seemed to like not even give her a second thought of him. He was like, I'm going to take a job. I'm going to do this and that. And you don't get to go to Paris and live your life. Well, like James is much more like, no, I'm just here, a part of your life. I'll help out with your event planning. You do what you need to do. Don't let me mess any of that up. You go to Oxford. You follow your dreams. Like he's more encouraging of her being a person, while it felt like Jeremiah was more bringing Belly down to like be like to help his own needs.
I think Jeremiah was more selfish afterwards, and I think James has been really supportive. So I think that they've just handled this in very opposite situations. I mean, they were both bad cheating situations. I mean, James is both were like bad. Very public and embarrassing. And so both situations were very bad. And I think that they handled them, though, completely differently, which makes such a difference.
Well, James didn't apologize by asking her to marry him. Like, you know?
Thank God. I couldn't handle another marriage storyline.
But now, in fairness to the question, I do agree that it would be nice if maybe Ruby brought this up a little bit more, like held his feet to the fire on this a little bit more. But I think because his mother's like death being so recent.
It was a direct reaction to that.
Jeremiah's mom had died like 4 years before this happened. Like this was like so recent that I think she's not quite as hard on James as she probably should be in the show.
Yeah, I think the timelines are completely different. James's cheating was a complete downward spiral in connection to his mom just dying. Whereas Jeremiah's was a lot more about Conrad than it was his mom. Yeah.
Jealousy over
so the
his brother,
reasons were very different.
But there are similarities. They're not wrong. There are similarities.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm saying that I understand if people have a hard time forgiving James. I think, though, a lot of it is just the timeline of this show just moves so quick. And so I get it if people aren't there yet. I think that's fair. Sometimes it takes time.
I would say if you're having a hard time forgiving him, maybe just watch the limbo scene again.
Yeah, that does it for me. I think maybe I just forgive easily.
That worked for Jillian.
Easy peasy. We're all good. We're all having fun. Here we are arguing about Jeremiah once again on this podcast. It doesn't get old. It does not get old.
I know.
All right, next comment. This was a comment on Spotify. Just found your podcast. Love your takes on Maxton Hall in The Summer I Turned Pretty. Not sure if you have covered the similarities between the two and which you like better. Both main characters lose their mom, need therapy, etc. I do think the two lead actors are very similar in the way they show emotion in their eyes and movements versus just words. Such longing in both. Ruby is definitely a much stronger character than Belly, though. Also, the scenes between Ruby and James deserve deserve to be talked about when he crashed their family picnic and she tells him how much she loves him and how hard it is for her and tells him to help himself first, aka Cleveland telling Conrad you have to be good with yourself first. Lastly, does anyone else think there is so much crying in this show? They are both good criers, but they must have some really good drops in their eyes because their eyes are always pooled with tears. It's crazy, but I love it. Good show. What a comment. Love that. Yeah.
Those are great points. Like a lot of
similarities between Maxton Hall and The Summer I Turned Pretty. I do like that they're different, though. I think that there is a lot of similarities, especially in this season with the death of James and Lydia's mom. I definitely think Maxton Hall is more dramatic. And I think Maxton Hall is a little bit of the show that some people wanted The Summer I Turned Pretty to be. You know, when we were coming up with all those like crazy theories for The Summer I Turned Pretty, like John is going to have a heart attack. Like that is not that show, but I think sometimes we wanted it to be that way. And it's a much more like subtle, quieter, like character analysis type show than what Maxton Hall is. But I do agree that I do think there's a lot of similarities between Conrad Fisher and James Beaufort. And I do think both those actors have some great gravitas. They're both amazing. They're good actors.
Great parted hair.
Yeah, very similar hairstyles as well. And they say a lot just with their face. They give the brooding so
give you those longing stares.
They do such a good job of it.
Yeah, no, I think those are good points. I agree with you that, like, that's a great point for also probably why it's easier for us to forgive James in this show, because so much of The Summer I Turned Pretty was a character study of Belly and what's going on in her mind, and somewhat Conrad's too.
Right.
Since we're living in those characters for like more stretched, long, like longing moments, you kind of have deeper feelings about what has happened in the past.
Yeah, that's so true.
It
I think that's a good point.
It doesn't mean one is better than the other, but this is a different tone show. Like, this is a show where, like, if Belly's dad had had a heart attack in that finale, he would have been running a marathon by the end of the episode. Like, it's like, this show moves fast plot-wise.
Yeah.
Like, you are not meant to hold long grudges in this show because something else is about to happen.
And The Summer I Turned Pretty is a bit more of a slow burn.
Yeah.
It moves at a slower pace.
Yeah. Which was great. It made you like, it was a deep character study kind of Belly and Conrad's relationship. Well, this is a lot more dramatic, a lot more kind of soapy, fun teen love show. It doesn't mean it's lesser. It just means it's very different. Like,
different vibes.
But it's fun. I think those are good points. I think part of what we were saying that, like, I think some people would say that this show's a little soapier than that show.
Yeah.
But, like, I do think a great point they're making is that, like, Ruby Bell is a very strong female character. It was something we kind of liked about the show at the beginning, is that, like, she's just as smart, probably smarter than James. And, like, it's like them battling more as equals, not like one person's like smarter than the other or succeeding more than the other.
And that is one of my favorite things about the Ruby Bell character. And I like that we haven't lost that side of her. We haven't seen her like downward spiral in that way, or we haven't seen her lose herself in that way, at least yet. She really sticks true to who she is, which is what makes her so strong. And it's compelling to watch. I don't think we've had a character like that in a long time. And it's nice to see her just be somebody who goes after what she wants.
It's nice when she's like, I love you, James, but I also have my dreams. I got to achieve all this. I got to get to Oxford.
I think, too, Belly was a little bit more of a wishy-washy character. And I don't even mean that in a bad way. I think that it was representing something different. She was a little bit more lost. She didn't know what she wanted off the bat, which is kind of why she kept going back and forth between the brothers.
Yeah. Well, Ruby Bell was a little more like, I don't want any of this, and just sort of got caught up in it.
Right. But I do agree on the comment of lots of crying in this show. I actually thought that when we were watching the last episode, I was thinking, I don't think we've had an episode where Ruby Bell has not cried. Those tears are pulling up in her eyes all the time. She's really going through it. I think there's just a lot of crying because there's a lot of emotional stuff going on this season.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good too. Yeah, I mean, you're right. Of like, when you think of like the slow burn sometimes of like the summer, I turned pretty like building up to that big beach scene between Conrad and Belly, and like the tears in their eyes for that, and like how like big and meaningful that is. And it is like there's a lot of scenes with that kind of crying and like convos back and forth of this.
We love it, and I did love that scene where James crashes Ruby's family picnic after she gets into Oxford, and she says, you need to fix yourself for you.
Oh, yeah.
We talked a lot about that scene in one of our previous apps because I think it's such a pivotal scene of the show. It's where a lot changes. And it was also a moment showing how strong Ruby Bell is of knowing I love him, but I cannot jump into something with him right now. He needs to work on himself. And it works.
It is. It's a good message in both shows that these men need to get themselves together. It's not your job to fix them.
That is a message of both shows. And I do like that because I think in the past on these shows, we've gotten wrapped up in the brooding bad boy and you know, we're not thinking about therapy for him. We're not thinking of that he needs to fix himself before being in this serious relationship with this girl. And both these shows showed their leading man in therapy getting better before they get with the girl, which I loved. We needed that.
Two of your heartthrobs in the year, both in therapy.
I know. I mean, it's going to be a battle of which heartthrob comes out on top at the end of the year. I might need to do a poll or something. I need to know what the people think. Are you Conrad for top heartthrob of the year, or are you James Beaufort?
It's fun to talk about because they're very different shows, but also scratch some similar itches.
Definitely. I'm here for it. All right. Next comment from Instagram. Did you guys notice the Titanic moment at the very beginning of Ep 5? As they're exiting the car, James gets out and presents his hand to Ruby Bell with a madam. Very Jack helping Rose into the iconic car. I did not notice this, but great observation. We love the Titanic parallels in this show, and there is a lot of them.
There are quite a few because, like, I mean, going back to when she was trying on the Victorian dresses, a lot of that seemed very Titanic coded.
Walking down the stairs.
Walking down the stairs. James drawing her, obviously.
Yes,
There seem to be a lot of Titanic references in this.
I'm just waiting for them to get on a boat and go full Jack and Rose, full Titanic pose. I think we're gonna get it one of these days.
And it's also kind of a reversal too of like he's the one with like the privilege and the class and the money,
that's true.
and she's the more Jack in this one.
Yeah, that's very true. It's very clear that this show is written by elder millennial women, and I thank them for that.
Yeah, let's just hope James has room on the raft if Ruby Bell gets in that situation. Although Ruby Bell won't get near the water. She wouldn't be on the Titanic.
That's true. You're right. Maybe she is like Rose reborn.
Oh, there you go.
That's why she's so scared of the water, too. Maybe that leads into it.
Something bad happened in that water.
I don't know. They both had something traumatic happen in the water. I don't know. A lot of similarities.
That's your crazy theory. Reborn Rose.
Reborn Rose. Rose's great granddaughter.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't do the math. All right. Next comment from Instagram. Somebody just messaged me and said, "I'm so anxious," and I agree. That I really laughed at that.
Point. It's a great point. Well, I'm surprised none of the questions yet have been about that cliffhanger ending. Like, I mean, that's what's really on my mind is what was going on with that cliffhanger ending. Like,
well, there are some that we got with that.
Okay, I'm curious.
We'll get there.
That.
We'll get there. I'm saving that for the end. But
okay, good.
We got
good to know that's coming
because
I was like the cliffhanger ending going into the season finale. It's really a great one. Like, the look on that headmaster's face. What is to come?
I mean, they set up so much stuff.
Yeah,
and you just know it's gonna be bad because they were so happy. Like James and Ruby were so happy sitting on that bench making out. They finally kind of got over this other hump and they were feeling good, and you know something bad is coming.
You got too much happiness in episode 4 and 5 because you got the big date night, then you got this at the Midsummer Night's Dream Party, and it's just, you know, the hammer's gonna fall.
I know. I'm so scared. All right. Well, before we get to the ending, let's talk about multiple comments that we got on YouTube. Many people were saying that they thought Mortimer faked the breakdown that he had in episode 5, where it's late at night and he is throwing glass, drinking, full breakdown.
Wow.
So one of the comments we got was, I think Mortimer faked the breakdown and is having an affair with his assistant. He played his kids to manipulate them.
Wow.
That's interesting. I mean,
not a lot of fans of Mortimer.
Well, yeah, who likes Mortimer? But we haven't seen this man do anything right or well, so I am wondering. But I don't think he faked it. That's kind of where I'm leaning towards.
Well, that was our point, and when we talked about episode 5, is we like that he's kind of a tortured villain, not like there is like something going on behind those evil eyes, that like he's unhappy with his life and with like decisions he's made and the loss he's having to deal with.
But did he love Cordelia? Like, it didn't seem like he did.
I get their point, as if we already think he might be having an affair with Julia, his assistant. Like, is he really that broken up?
Well, and maybe the breakdown, I don't think the breakdown was about Cordelia necessarily. And I know he was like, why did you leave me? But I think it's more about like the situation he's in. The company is not doing well, and his kids, he can't wrangle them in right now.
He feels all this pressure, and they're not living up to his expectations.
So I think it was more
He
about
doesn't even
that.
know about those twins coming.
I know. Well, I don't think anyone should tell him about this. I think these kids got to run away. They got to get out of there. They got to get Percy to get them out of there.
I think my question, though, would be, like, what's the point? Like, why did he need them to suddenly, like, come to his aid like that? And, like, I think it was just, like, I think he let his guard down for a minute. And I think it was, like, but maybe they're right. I don't know. I get their point. Like, if he is probably already having an affair with this assistant, why is he so broken up? But I do think it was just a breakdown that, like, for a fleeting second, it was like he could have gone the other way and been like a good dad to them, but he did not choose that road.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think that it was a glimpse into him that he really didn't want anybody to see either. Like, that's why I don't think it was to manipulate them, because I think it was a rare moment. And I do think it was more about him losing control than it was about being upset about Cordelia. I think it was different reasons than what it looked like in the moment.
Yeah. But who knows? Maybe he was just putting on a show. He went back upstairs and scrolled through James' phone some more.
I mean, either way, we know he's not a good person. Like, he didn't take that opportunity
Either
to
way.
be better after that. So it's like, either way, we're in the same conclusion with it.
Even if that is a real breakdown, it doesn't absolve any of the terrible things he's done.
Yeah. And then we got another comment on it, on the breakdown. I don't think he was on a bender similar to James's bender. I think he knew that if he made enough noise and pretended to be the grieving husband, James and Lydia would leave their rooms to find out what was going on and be taken in by his performance. That was bait, and he reeled them in. Psychopaths know how to perform in order to manipulate the people around them. But again, I could be mistaken. Maybe they have something completely different planned for Mortimer in Ep 6 and Season 3. I know it's a good question. It's a solid debate on this one. I don't know. I feel like I mean, I agree that Mortimer is a psychopath. So I agree with that comment. And they do, if anything, we have seen Mortimer manipulate people or try to left and right.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously very manipulative. I think I would, though, prefer to believe that was real, so that in the arc of the show you can have a hope that he can be slightly redeemed. Maybe not, never all the way, but maybe he can make some slightly kinder decisions. By the end of this, because if you don't have that hold out hope, he just truly is just an evil villain throughout the entire show, I guess.
I think that what this was the show giving him more layers, like what we talked about. I think that was the point of it. This is a complicated character. He is not exactly maybe as black and white as what we wanted him to be. And that there's more to his story. There's more to him and Cordelia. I think that scene was also reminding us that he had a relationship with his children at one point. Because they did go running to him to see if he was okay, to check on him. They were hugging him. They were comforting him. I do think they were reminding us that they were a family at one point. They did have a relationship with him. It's just all hit the fan. And has gone terrible as these kids have gotten older.
I think it's a good point. As it was almost a scene to show us that they technically are still a family and have been a family, despite all the terror you're about to see Mortimer cause. Yeah.
But I mean, I love that scene has caused a lot of questions and theories. It just shows I think with that scene the show went a little deeper for me, which I liked.
Yeah.
I like it when we're kind of all debating something.
I think it works either way.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, and we got the same conclusion.
It's kind of though it's your read on Mortimer is sort of how you're going to see that scene of you're it's more evil manipulation, or you maybe view it as a tortured father who could have picked a better way and is going very much the wrong way. But either way, he's the villain in the end.
Either way, he's not going the right way.
No.
Either way, we still hate Mortimer.
Absolutely.
All right. And then another comment from Instagram. This is the final one.
Okay.
So glad I found Maxton Hall, especially post The Summer I Turned Pretty. I have to say, first season I actually struggled with figuring out it was a German show set in London. So glad you guys brought that up. You're welcome.
Again,
that's fair. That's fair.
I hadn't watched a lot of shows like that. So it was confusing to me. It was confusing to me the first episode.
Yeah. And then they go on to continue to say, the only thing I've suspected for the finale is that the photo Lexington receives is the one of Ruby with Sutton that James took in the pilot. They clued us into that with the first season previously on, also an old teen TV show trick, and then all the shots of the phone post-car accident. And then with the Sutton-Lydia photo, Sutton is looking like he'll be in trouble, which is probably appropriate. Curious where the show will go from there and how they'll get her to Oxford. Looking forward to the finale. As you guys have said, they really pack so much into each episode.
Very true. Wow, I love that. Again, name of the podcast, Previously On. So, like, love looking for clues in the Previously On.
And there is a lot of the time. There are clues in a Previously On.
You mentioned this to me, and so I went back and watched the Previously On, and it's basically like season 2, episode 1. Before that starts, there's like a Previously On, like little montage of everything in season 1, and obviously they hit some important moments that have already come true here in season 2. But they do show that shot of James standing up there at the balcony after the strippers have ruined Ruby Bell's party, which feels so long ago now. And he takes that photo of her and Mr. Sutton talking. But he's just asking her not to reveal the affair with Lydia.
Right. He was using that for his own blackmail, we thought at the time. But we never saw anything happen with that photo. Which is
it's crazy how villainous James looks in that scene.
Feels
when he's
like
doing that.
Years
he's
ago.
really changed a lot since that first step.
And it's hard because you could view that scene as just them showing us how villainous and toxic he is in that moment of he's doing anything to bring Ruby Bell down. But it's interesting that this was included on the Previously On.
I think it's a great point that photo would not be in there if there wasn't something coming. So I think it's a great theory. I think it's a great
definitely.
Theory. Again, I don't think it's Lydia and Mr. Sutton that he's getting a photo of, but it could be like the long way about getting revealed what's really going on with Mr. Sutton.
Yeah.
Either way, I think things aren't looking great for Mr. Sutton and his promotion in the next episode.
You know, and I was starting to root for him.
Yeah. If there was a betting line, I'd take the under on him getting that promotion.
I'm also curious where the show will go from there and how they're going to get to Oxford.
Yeah.
We still have that path for Ruby Bell too.
There's a lot we need to accomplish.
Oxford now. Yeah.
There's a lot we need to accomplish, but like, who knows? Do you really want to get to Oxford and leave this castle? It's so fun in this little Harry Potter castle school.
Well, we'll really be going from one castle to another. Isn't
there
Oxford a bit of a castle
You're
too?
not wrong.
I think we're definitely getting to Oxford in season 3 though, because they were filming season 3 already and it was them at Oxford. So I don't know if it will be school year though, or one of those like trips beforehand that we saw. It could be something like that too.
Don't be getting too wrapped up in the shooting stories. Remember when you got tricked on Jeremiah in Paris?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they could be doing that to me again.
No, I think that's probably real. I think the show is headed to Oxford. That's what they have to. I mean, didn't you say the actor joked that, like, I have to get to Oxford soon? I am getting older.
Yeah, he did. Damien Hardung in a Q&A was like, I mean, we gotta get there soon. I'm getting kind of old to keep being in this school.
To keep being in this, like...
He's probably, like, sitting at a desk in this school being like, this is so crazy. Like, I'm in a school uniform at a desk.
Yeah.
Like, I am too old for that.
I think it's a great theory. I think it's something that is putting Ruby Bell in danger. And I think that would be a good payoff. That would make a lot of sense with Mortimer having access to the phone.
Yeah.
With, like, him looking at ways to destroy Ruby Bell, which is crazy, but he continues to go even harder at destroying Ruby Bell.
This young girl.
Who's done nothing. Like, she can't help your son fell in love with her. She's not like, look at her. She's not out there, like, trying to seduce him. Like...
You would think Mortimer has bigger fish to fry. Like, I mean, this guy is like...
Elaine's like doing everything
rich.
she can to seduce this guy. Ruby's he just likes her. It's not her fault.
I wonder if Mortimer and Elaine will ever pair up. They have the same goal. Like, I
Yeah.
wonder if they'll ever join forces together.
I don't know.
Just Mortimer and Elaine trying to take
Maybe.
down Ruby Bell.
They're just like, we're going to destroy this. We're going to destroy everyone until James marries Elaine. It's so
I know.
crazy.
I mean, it definitely feels like there is a big storm a-coming for Ruby and James. I just hope that they weather it together. I hope that whatever happens, because we know big drama is coming, clearly, with that cliffhanger.
Absolutely.
I just hope that this doesn't tear them apart, because I do think that when they handle things together, they're much stronger together.
Yeah.
I think, though, if they separate and try and, work through this alone, it's not going to work. It's going to be bad for both of them. And I'm just like, I know it's hard, but stay together.
Ruby is already in Mortimer's crosshairs. Like, I don't
Right.
think you're going to save yourself by, like, giving him what he
Exactly.
wants at this point.
That's how I feel about it. I think that it's hard. And there is a part of me that's like, is it worth it? Like, is this girl destroying her future for this guy? But, like, she's not destroying it. James isn't destroying it. Mortimer's trying to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the two of them together and, get your other forces. Get Lydia. Get Percy involved. Percy, we need your help here. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, if
Come on.
all these people can go against Mortimer, like, maybe something can happen then.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm excited to see this finale. It could be that the headmaster saw that James Beaufort was in a wreck and died, and that none of this was real.
Oh, my
that
God.
Could be what it was.
He's grieving the loss of his son. That's why he was crying.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
is.
Not
then,
Cordelia.
Then we get one of those crazy flashbacks of like, oh, James was never there.
Oh my God. You're going to start confusing people with your theories.
I'm sorry. I'll stop.
Everyone, he is just making this up. This is, I just
Making
want to
it
be
up on
clear.
the fly, honestly.
Tyler loves a theory where someone's just been dead the whole time.
Yeah, that's my favorite kind of twist.
You know what? No one wrote in. There are some events that have been talked about a lot throughout the season that we haven't gotten yet.
Mm-hmm.
The reading of the will,
That's
which
true.
you
The
called,
reading of the will.
you were like, that will
Ophelia.
probably be in the last episode.
I said that would be the finale, the fate of Ophelia.
I love that. It should be called that. And then also the big lacrosse game with
That's true.
Cyril.
Cyril needs a big performance if he's going to get that athletic scholarship.
Yeah, so we got a lot of ground to cover in this episode when you think about it.
A
lot of drama.
And you never know. Frederick could show back up in his sweater.
Oh my God, we can only hope. Your favorite character all season was Frederick. I imagine just like some crazy like villainous music playing as Frederick walks in, like one of those slow-mo shots. Give us what we want.
Best.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for listening. We hope you're excited for the Maxton Hall Season 2 finale. We can't wait. We know what we're doing on Thanksgiving. Be sure to listen back to all of our Maxton Hall Season 2 episodes. You don't want to miss a thing.
We'll be back this weekend with a recap of the big season finale.
Episode 6. Be sure to follow us and rate and review us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We would really love it if you could rate us 5 stars. We also do full video on YouTube. If you haven't checked us out there, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, previously on _Teen TV. You can also follow us on all socials, TikTok, Instagram, at previously on _Teen TV. And check out our merch on Etsy. Thanks for listening.
Bye.